What is up, Cowboy Nation? Dallas fan 1997 here, guys. And I just got the news. And shout out to Sean Sharon. You sent me this message. I literally woke up about 5-10 minutes ago, and I saw this message on my phone that Sean had commented under one of my videos. So shout out to you, man. You're an awesome subscriber. The Dallas Cowboys have traded for wide receiver George Pickens. So I like this trade. I honestly like this trade. I think George Pickens is a very good receiver. I've actually talked about him a few times on the channel. Maybe only once, but I talked about him last year when we played the Steelers. That he was a really good receiver that we had to go up against, and now he's on the Dallas Cowboys. He was the Pittsburgh Steelers' #1 receiver, and now he's our #2. So this is a good trade, man. I looked some things up about George Pickens. He is going into the last year of his deal. It sounds like Jerry Jones was not aware of that, so, okay. But he is young. He's 24 years old. He had over 1,000 yards in 2023. He had 900 yards last year, and I believe he had 800 yards the year before that. So he's had some solid production throughout his career. I think he's very talented, and he's very young. I think this is a good trade. This would be like drafting basically a wide receiver in the first round and getting a rookie. I honestly would take George Pickens over just about any receiver that was available in this year's draft. So I think this is a good trade by the Dallas Cowboys. George Pickens is a young receiver. I think he is a good jump ball guy. He's got a lot of talent. There really is no excuses for Dak Prescott at this point. And honestly, as much as I was a fan of Brandon Cooks, I actually think that George Pickens is an upgrade over Brandon Cooks. If you look at George Pickens' production over the last 3 years versus Brandon Cooks, he's actually been better than Brandon Cooks has. And that's not to knock on Brandon Cooks, but he just has been better. And Brandon Cooks is also older. He's going to be 32 years old. George Pickens is 24. Obviously, they're a much different type of receiver. George Pickens is more of a jump ball kind of receiver from what I've seen. And, and he's a solid route runner. But, Brandon Cooks is more of a speed receiver. But, sorry. Overall, I like this trade. I'm not sure exactly what we gave up for him. I couldn't find it in all the articles I read, so I was trying to look that up before I made this video, but I don't know what we traded for Brandon Cooks. But at the end of the day, the Dallas Cowboys got 2 #1 receivers. Dak's got plenty of help now. I mean, you look at who he's got. I honestly feel like the Cowboys, I didn't come on here and upload a video of what I thought about the Dallas Cowboys draft. I think I made a post about it. I give the Cowboys overall a B minus in this draft. I think that they did a pretty good job. They addressed all their needs. They got some good players. I do feel like the Cowboys could have addressed defensive tackle a little bit earlier in the draft than what they did. I do like Jay Toya out of UCLA after doing some research on him. I think he's got good size and everything, and I think he'll make the team. But, even though I like Jay Toya, I do feel like the Cowboys should have taken Jamari Caldwell there in the 3rd round. Now, I was a big fan of Siobhan Revelle. The only thing I don't like is that he's coming off of a bad injury. I don't know why we like to take guys in the draft that are good, but they always come off injuries. We've been doing it for the last 10 years, but don't understand it. But that's the only thing I don't like, is that he's coming off of a bad injury. Other than that, though, I think the Cowboys had a good draft. We got 2 running backs. We got Jaden Blue out of Texas, who I think is pretty talented. Reminds me a lot of Tony Pollard. We got Phil Maffa, who's a power back. The Cowboys have very good depth there at running back, and people say that our team sucks. I'm looking at our running back room. Our running back room is actually pretty strong. There's a lot of teams that we're stronger than at the running back position now. When it comes to depth. Now, we don't have anybody that's a true #1, but we do have a lot of guys with good depth. So, I really like what Brian Schottenheimer, you're talking to somebody that I literally made a video saying that Brian Schottenheimer would be the worst hire since Dave Campo. You know, I hope Brian Schottenheimer makes me eat my words. I can't say that yet because he hasn't gone out there and actually coached any games, but you know, I have to admit, Brian Schottenheimer has done some things so far in the offseason that I've actually been a fan of. I like the way that he's handled himself in interviews. I like the way that he has kind of, you know, changed things up in the locker room a little bit. I like the way that he's drafted and what he's done in free agency. You know, I've actually been a fan of what Brian Schottenheimer has been doing here, or I shouldn't say here, but in Dallas. So I like what Brian Schottenheimer is doing, and I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that Brian Schottenheimer makes me look like the biggest idiot out there. I really do. I actually do want Shotty to succeed. I wasn't happy with the hire at first. I really wasn't, and the jury's still kind of out on Brian Schottenheimer. Can't say I'm happy with it yet because he has to go out there and coach these players. I got to see the results in order to be like, yeah, I was wrong. But kind of like some of the stuff he's doing, not going to lie. So we'll see how all that turns out. But Cowboys got what they need on offense now. So you can't go out there and say that Dak only has CeeDee Lamb as a weapon anymore, because he doesn't. He's got CD, he's got Jake Ferguson, he's got Miles Sanders, he's got George Pickens, he's got Jaden Blue, he's got Javonte Williams, and then if they make the team, Deuce Vaughn and Phil Maffa. He's got Jake Ferguson. I think I already mentioned him. So Dak's got like 3 or 4 weapons on offense right there that he can use. He's got a top 5 receiver. He's got a potentially top, 15 receiver in George Pickens. Potentially top 15, top 20, be fair. And he's got a top 10 tight end. So he's got 3 weapons right there. That should be enough. That should be enough. There's really no excuses for Dak Prescott going into 2025. You got paid. You got $60 million. Brian Schottenheimer has put together a strong offensive line to protect you. He's gone out there and gotten you a weapon. There is no excuses for Dak this year. Dak has to put up or shut up. He cannot go out there like he did in 2022. He can't go out there like he did last year and stink up the joint. You can't do it. I feel like the Cowboys had a solid draft, B- draft. A few things they could have done differently. They got the depth they need. They got 3 solid players in the first 3 rounds. And now they got Dak Prescott, another weapon in George Pickens, which I like this. I love George Pickens. I really do. I shouldn't say love it, but I like the trade a lot. I like George Pickens a lot. So there is no excuses, man. Time to put up or shut up, Dak.